Ethan joining the show now, retired wrestler and current color commentator for the WWE. Corey Graves joins us. Hey, Corey.
Good morning, guys.
It's great to have you on, man. You know, we spoke a little bit off the air, and I told you, admittedly, Ethan and I are not the hugest wrestling guys, but we got a guy in the building, huge wrestling fan, and kind of updated us on you.
You used to do a podcast?
He used to do it, yeah. Wrestling podcast was pretty popular too. Joey Etch, I'm talking about. But he was telling me you're kind of like at this point the Ryan Seacrest of the WWE. You just work constantly on.
I'll take it. I'll take that comparison. I'm not offended, but yeah, as far as the work schedule, man, I remember for a period of time, Seacrest was everywhere and then some, and that's kind of the role I've found myself in lately.
What led to your retirement? Did you have injury issues?
Yeah, I actually had some concussion issues, and WWE shut me down. It was a pretty miserable time in my life. I was against it, but now here I am 4 years later. And I'm thankful that they made the decision for me, as I probably wouldn't have made the right decision. They were, looking out for me in the long term and hopefully be able to live a healthy, productive life. And, now I'm busier than ever. And I sort of accidentally fell into this commentary role, and I think I might have found my calling. So
that's what we've heard. Are you
telling me, so if they had not made the decision for you, you would have kept wrestling?
Oh yeah, if it were up to me, I absolutely wouldn't have given it up. But I had 4 diagnosed concussions in a year.
Wow.
And again, I was just waiting for the okay to get back in the ring, and they sent me to several doctors and specialists, and some of the best doctors in the country, and they saw some things that they weren't comfortable with, and they felt it was in my best interest to not continue competing. So, it sucked, but it was kind of forced me to learn something new. It was cool that the company said, hey, you didn't do anything wrong. We're not going to release you or fire you. It's just an unfortunate circumstance. And they kind of said, hey, here's the key to the kingdom. What do you want to try? Wow. And I did everything from learning to run production, and I was running the entrance music at live events and pulling cables, and I mean, literally every aspect of the business I could get my hands on, I just dove in. And I was actually Michael Cole, who I do Monday Night Raw with, who knew that I had done some radio in my past, just briefly in Pittsburgh. And he said, why don't you give commentary a try? And it was literally just an experiment, just to see, something else I was trying my hand at. And it turned out I guess I was sort of passable at it. So here I am.
Corey Graves joining the show, WWE color commentator. You guys are coming off the big WrestleMania. Whenever people who are not wrestling fans hear a lot about WrestleMania, it was good. This was a really good one, I understand.
Oh, WrestleMania, I mean, whether you're a wrestling fan or not, it's become pop culture. Right? It's Americana. That's the one thing, people that don't even watch wrestling know is WrestleMania. That it's we call it the biggest event in live entertainment, and I think that holds true. I mean, we sold out MetLife Stadium, over 80,000 people live, and however many million watching around the world. And it was a marathon this year. I'm not entirely sure yet. I think it might have been the longest WrestleMania from start to finish in history in 35 years. So it was definitely a test of my bladder, which I'm proud to say I made it through without incident. But, it's funny. When you're out there, it doesn't feel that long, at least for me. I mean, I can understand as a fan sitting there watching, and you're like, holy cow, this thing keeps going and going and going. But when I'm calling a show, whether it be Raw or SmackDown or any of our pay-per-views, I'm just kind of in it, and I'm in that zone, and then the next thing you know, it's over, and it's like, wow, where did the last 6 hours of my life go?
Right.
But it's like that, doing anything that you love. It's time just goes by.
Yeah, we know about that. WWE's Corey Graves joining the show. What was the standout moment from WrestleMania, the moment that you think everybody will remember years later?
Well, I mean, I know everybody's talking about the fact that the women headlined WrestleMania for the very first time. So
that's history,
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, who've all worked their tails off for the past couple of years to get to that point. And it was electric in there. Becky Lynch got her big moment to be victorious from the biggest stage of them all. I mean, it's pretty memorable. Personally, I was really excited to see Roman Reigns get back in the ring and compete for the first time since beating leukemia, which, I mean, he's a very close friend of mine, and it's very important to everybody in the locker room and the company. So to see him, get back on the horse, so to speak, at WrestleMania was really cool on a personal note.
Corey Graves joining the show, WWE color commentator. Now you're part of this Northeast wrestling event at the Danbury PAL building. It's April the 26th. What is your role in that? Tell us about that.
I believe I'm just going to be there for a meet and greet. I get to work with Northeast Wrestling pretty frequently. They put on incredible events. They don't consider themselves an independent wrestling company. They are Northeast Wrestling. They're their own sort of entity where you'll see a lot of stars, current from WWE. We've got Jerry Lawler on the show, a WWE Hall of Famer. It's an incredible blend of today's talent. A lot of future stars of the business will be there, and some faces you might have recognized from the past. But the shows are awesome. They're fun. They always draw really good crowds. I really, really enjoy doing Northeast wrestling events. So, I'll be there before the show for a couple hours, taking pictures, signing autographs, kissing hands, shaking babies.
What is your take on David Arquette being a part of
the actor David Arquette?
Yes.
He's the headliner on this against Brian.
I've got an interesting perspective on David Arquette because the poor guy has a bit of a bad rap. He's an admitted lifelong wrestling fan. Many years ago in WCW, a company which no longer exists, he became the champion while he was acting.
Right.
And it was sort of a promotional stunt for a movie that he was doing at the time. I believe he actually donated all of his money that he made during that run to charity. He did it just out of his passion for the business. So fast forward a few years, he's gotten out of it. His career took a few different paths, and he's doing the independents and kind of working his way through. I mean, I don't think he has any aspirations of being a WWE superstar any day now, but you can't fault a guy for passion. And a lot of people look at him the wrong way and say, oh, well, he's only anywhere because he was a Hollywood movie star. So what? Whatever gets you in the door, whatever you can use to maximize and live your dream, good on him. I don't know him well. I've met him a handful of times. He's always been friendly to me. So maybe I'll get to chop it up with him a little bit at Northeast Wrestling.
Corey Graves joining the show, WWE color commentator. I got to disagree with you. I think he does want to be in the WWE. We had him in here for an interview for the last time. Him and Brian.
Last time they were in town,
they had a bout, and they were fighting, physically fighting in here, and Brian took him down like into the wall.
That's King Brian.
Yeah, King Brian. David, he was going with, he was fully committed and into this. I'm like, what are you, psycho? What are you? Go film Scream 11. Why are you getting form tackled in Danbury?
I do know he was present at WrestleMania. Thankfully, he was on the correct side of the barricade, out in the fence where he belongs. But can't fault the guy. Now
on to this King Brian Anthony. Now I've known Ethan and I've known Brian for a very, very long time, and since he's became the king, he's been running his mouth at me also. So he did a promo against me, and then I answered it and I did it almost like a wrestling photo, I was flexing with my shirt off. But with me answering the promo, am I now obligated to fight him at some point?
Yeah, that's the rule.
I wouldn't do that.
There has to be a physical confrontation.
I don't think you should do that.
I already did it, though. That's what I'm worried about.
No, I'm talking about fighting King Brian.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Because I said I was going to. I wanted to give him the Stone Cold Stunner, which I don't even know if that's allowed to use other people's moves.
I'm sure King Brian's busy next Friday, but I'm sure if we talk to the promoters, we can get a cage and lock you guys in it at the Danbury PAL.
I'd love to see that.
Now, I asked your permission to say this off the air, and you said okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. Corey Graves, a new resident of Danbury, Connecticut, and that is awesome. Danbury, Connecticut's so hot right now. We got a WWE
I refer to
superstar.
myself now as Hat City's favorite son.
That's it. Well,
like it.
I'm Hat City's favorite son. I got to show you around first.
Look, I'll fight you for it in a cage.
Okay, you can have it.
All right.
Corey Graves, everybody is excited about the event. We really appreciate you coming on, and I'm going to tell you right now, you got an open door to talk wrestling. Whether we watch it or not a lot, we know a lot of our listeners do. It's very popular. We'd love to have you in sometime, so you're always welcome.
I'd be happy to stop in, man. Absolutely, anytime.
Corey Graves, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool
I didn't
guy.
know he was such a big deal in WWE. That's awesome.
Yeah, and Joey Atch, again, I'm mentioning,
Right.
our staffer here at I-95, our buddy, he mentioned to me I was going to hit it off with this guy, and you were going to like him. So he's got the neck tattoo. That's all in.
I know. I saw that.
I forgot to mention that to him.
I should get a neck tattoo.
No, because you're all in.
Oh. Okay.
Here, you could get away with it. If you get fired and you got to go work at Fidelity, you're screwed.
Yeah. I will be screwed. Here's the deal. Corey Graves will be at Northeast Wrestling April 26th at the Danbury PAL building. Just a ton of different matches. And he's going to be there for a meet and greet, signing autographs. So, if you're a big wrestling fan, this is your chance.
It's called checking it out.
That's right.